Alan, we are here.
Yeah,
On the Metal Voice.
Where's here exactly?
Here is here, my friend. Here is here. We don't know, but what time is here?
Yeah, we're
Back
somewhere.
then?
We're somewhere, Jimmy.
Okay.
And we'll
what are we going to talk about today? There it is, Alan. First day buyer when it came out.
Me
I
too.
could still smell
the
vinyl. This is what it looked like the first day I bought it, and I go, oh, macaroni, holy macaroni. Somewhere
Jim,
in time.
You know what?
Ding.
I actually bought this
Yeah.
on September 26, 1986 in Canada.
Canada, yeah. Alan, has somewhere in time stood the test of time?
The time. That's what
that is the question today. And is Alexander the Great really that great? We'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
The album artwork, has it stood the test of time? The songs,
classic,
have they stood the test of time?
Oh, that's what I should go get. I should go get my Funko Pop somewhere in time. Okay. Yeah.
Let's start off with the mood. What was the musical mood back in the day? 1986. What were the popular bands?
Maiden ruled, man. Ruled you, I tell you. They ruled.
Yeah,
right?
They
After
ruled.
The big Power Slave tour, and all the smaller sheds for Number of the Beast here in Montreal was the Verdun Auditorium, and then they came back with Peace of Mind, and it was a Montreal Forum, And then when they came back, it was a Montreal Forum again, but sold out this time. We couldn't get a seat. We had to sneak in, and right at the end, you had to run in and have the security guard chase you and try to catch the end of the show. So then Live After Death came out. And we're like, okay, wow, it's another live album. We only had Made in Japan, little EP. And
Which
then
is my favorite live album.
Somewhere in time, I guess, hey, Jim, it must have been well anticipated. I think I bought it the day it went out as well. So they came out. And then the album cover, we spent hours looking at this album cover, trying to figure out all the little hidden messages, which there are about 6,000 of them on that album cover.
Yeah.
So, 86, Guns N' Roses was not out yet. So it was still kind of a hair metal scene. The thrash bands were going strong.
Gearing up.
Inroads.
And Iron Maiden sort of.
Cyndi Lauper.
Cyndi Lauper was 83, but she had true colors going on.
Oh, there you go.
So you had glam or hair sort of taken off slowly, right? The colors, blue and yellow and pink, and all those colors were coming out in metal slowly. The bands are at their sales peak at this point, and things are getting a little diluted in metal, right? But meanwhile, in the corner, Metallica, Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning.
Kill 'Em All was way before
Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets. I'm just saying they're starting to make inroads. So Maiden, now they're a bunch of old timers. They're not the cool raw band, with that energy and power. The underground, they're not underground anymore. Like you said, they're selling out arenas.
They played the Verdun Auditorium on the Master of Puppets tour. So, Maiden was still a much higher level above at that point. So, but what do you do? What do you do? Where do you go, right? Power Slave, we got Peace of Mind. And so they pulled out the guitar synths, kind of futuristic.
But before then, Alan, they call it the Live After Death Power Slave Hangover. 180 shows in something like 300 days. The band was exhausted. They'd been on the road forever. They've traveled all around the world. Bruce Dickinson was fencing. He was taking up all kinds of hobbies just to distract himself from the exhaustion. They pull out Live After Death with a little bit of a breather, but still, the Maiden mania is still going on. And now they got to come up with a new album.
Yeah.
Enter keyboards.
Yeah. You can't play heavy metal on a synthesizer. Remember Bruce in Poland? You can't play heavy metal on the synthesizer.
Peace of Mind says no keyboards were used on this album. But suddenly, wait a second, we're not going like this. We're going like this playing the keyboards, but that's acceptable. That's okay.
Yeah.
We can play keyboards like this, but not like this. So what happened? They they started writing material. And Bruce, what does he do? He goes, hey guys, I got some stuff.
Let's make it an acoustic album like Led Zeppelin 3. That's the way we should be going.
In his book, stating I was really not, into what they were doing. I was more into what I was doing. And, the band and management said, look, Bruce, we'll use this stuff on the next album.
Yeah. Take a break, Bruce. We'll get back to you. Relax.
So something changed on this album in terms of production. It's not that hard and heavy metal that Maiden had on Power Slave and Peace of Mind. The guitars seem to be a little more diluted. Is that the right word?
Oh, I don't know. I revisited the album. We can get into it shortly, but I was amazed at some of the guitar solos and the sounds of the guitar solos on this album. So, but again, they brought in the guitar synths. It was more like John Lord's Hammond organ, right? Plugged through a Marshall. I mean, it was a heavier sound or atmospheric, and whereas Judas Priest did the same thing around the Turbo time, and they went kind of techno pop with those keyboards.
That's a good point.
Maiden kept it more on the progressive side. I think this was one of the first albums that showed their progressive leanings a lot more prevalent on this album. And of course, then it goes right into Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, which is even more progressive. But I mean, just the album cover alone, looking at that, we spent hours and all the little, hey, Ancient Mariner Seafood Restaurant. Oh, I got the joke, and
we have Ruskin Arms, we have Rainbow, we
the
have
hammers, the scores for the hammers,
Yep, we have pretty much.
You got I think on the back there should be Charlotte the Harlot in the window somewhere. Oh yeah, there she is. Yeah, so. But at the time, it was much more, probably would have been considered a much more subdued album, right? With Stranger Than the Strange Times being one of the first videos coming out. And you're like, okay, this is just a different side of Maiden, but, Maiden's still on top. Maiden's the one everybody's got to get the album. We're not taping off each other when it comes to Maiden. We got to get the album, But... yeah, we can get into it, Jim. The songs. Look, we got the tour.
I think so. Hold on, show the ticket. But before we get into that, just on the songs overall, Bruce is not contributing on this album. That's a major difference, right?
Yeah.
Enter Adrian Smith with more contributions. So let's get into your show. Let's see that ticket.
But man, let's
see that ticket. Let's see that ticket.
Here we go. March 24th, 1987. I was on the floor. I don't remember that. I remember that Wasted open. I told you that earlier, and that's correct.
Yeah.
But I was actually on the orchestra, row G. And I remember Bruce coming out, right? Here's the program. There's a Somewhere in Time program.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember Bruce coming out. I remember that whole kind
electrical
of green salamander looking pants and the jacket that had the lights lighting up. The lights worked in Montreal. I can't talk about the other city. Apparently, it was quite problematic to have the lights, the battery packs to work on his lighted pants and his lighted jacket. But I remember in Montreal, it was working for a period of time. I don't know if it conked out somewhere along there. But he had that pirate shirt and suspenders. With this kind of
and the beard and the beard
and the beard. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. The question is, has this album stood the test of time?
Yeah, and I mean,
what did you? Okay, before we get into the songs, overall, what did you think of the album when you bought it and you put it on? What did you think? Just not naming the songs, just overall.
It was great. It's Maiden. Everything they did was fantastic.
Okay, so we're starting over here for you, right? Yeah. We're starting right here. Like you're happy. You're up here. Okay, you're happy. I got to tell you something about me. When this came out, I was very excited. Like you, I went out, I bought it, smelt it, read it, looked at all the pictures. But you know what? I was like, maybe I'm going to put on Killers now. Maybe I should put Peace on Mind on. Let me listen to the first album. I'm putting it on. I'm going like, man, I love the artwork. I think the songs were okay back then, but it wasn't something I was reaching for. I was very, very disappointed.
I would say I was
But I
disappointed.
was. But I was. You weren't, but I was. I think I was disappointed because on the horizon, thrash is coming out, and they're showing that anger and energy that Iron Maiden once used to have with Paul Di'Anno and the first two Bruce Dickinson
What
albums.
that's look. The reason why we're doing this show now is obviously back in time. The tour's coming. It's coming to
Yes.
North America. I got my tickets, and they'll be here at the end of the month.
Yep.
And that's why we're kind of going back and deep diving into our recollections of the original release of Somewhere in Time
Yep.
today on today's show. So thanks for
Yeah.
tuning in.
Yeah.
But
So
again, to get to your point, one thing I did notice, okay, now the synthesizers and everything, that's fine. But it was, the songs, right? They started stretching. We didn't have Running Free
that's a good
or
point.
Wrathchild. Now we're inching up to 5 minutes and 6 minutes. Yes, not 23 minutes like Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. That's an exception, of course. But yeah, more often than not, the songs are leaning. We had Wasted Years. Okay, there's the want to call it the single off the album.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't have two or three like Peace of Mind had. Uh, Quest by Fire and 2 Minutes to Midnight and but
Yeah.
this album, they all tend to go a little on the longer side. So
So basically, all the Senjutsu people who hate that album because every song is too long. Well, guess what? This
this
album also
it
was a
it
little
it,
stretched
it,
out each song.
it
You
might have
know,
started
one
here.
one too many verses, one too many repeats of choruses. But this album also had, for the first time in Iron Maiden's, I wouldn't say that for the first time, but more so than not, intros. A lot more moody intros, but short intros. Not to say they didn't
Yeah,
have
they
intros
had
in the
they
past.
had to put that's when they
I,
started. I saw that. I think it was earlier albums. I think may have been Power Slave or Live After Death. Playing time 51 minutes and 51
just on the
15 seconds.
cutoff, the
You had
cutoff.
to because you're looking at it like, oh, there's only 8 songs or there's only 9 songs. No, you're getting the bang for your buck because it's actually 51 minutes long, right? So cut somewhere in time over 7 minutes. Wasted Years. Sorry, it's 5 minutes. I thought it was a quick little 3 minutes, but Sea of Madness
But
is five
but hold on,
minutes.
hold on. Don't
None of
get into
this
all the
is.
songs. Wait, we're
Uh,
gonna go into them right now. We'll go in
I
order,
know, but I'm
okay?
talking. I'm talking the lengths, Jimmy. The
Okay.
shortest song seems to be Deja Vu at 4:55,
Yeah.
and Alexander the Great at 8 minutes. So
Hmm.
yeah, so I think that's for me. It was my takeaway. I mean, maybe Power Slave seemed shorter, but maybe the songs are just as long. But
Mhm.
this one, you can see the prog influence. There's a lot more breaks, a lot of more subdued solos that kind of built up. The sound of Adrian's guitar is fantastic on this album, and
Yep.
Bruce's vocals are. Oh man, he was at his prime,
Yep.
as far as
Yep.
I'm concerned, he really you can see some of the emotions and the power in those vocals on this album. That's what when I revisited, that was my takeaway. Those two things. So
Reading Bruce's book again about this album and reading a few Iron Maiden books about this album, Bruce was ready to quit. Maybe
yeah, yeah.
because he was just so tired, and he just came to the realization saying, "Look, I'm just a singer, and I'm going to sing these songs to the best of my ability." And that's what he did. Tanvir says, I was lukewarm, but have grown to love it. That's interesting. He says, it took me 4 months to accept it. Crazy now I look back. Jim Harrison, I bought this when I was a junior in high school. Great times. Phil, everybody claimed that Maiden was jumping on the glam bandwagon because of the keyboards and more melodic nature of it. Whatever. Same claim. Same claims were made about Judas Priest Turbo. But wait a second, Turbo, as you said, Alan, they were going more on the poppy side. They're the
Yeah. I
technotronic.
mean, and you know what? At that point, I don't know when Turbo came out. I think it was shortly after, right?
I think it was before.
I feel
Or
like it was a
well,
summertime album. It might
somebody
have been
please
before.
tell us.
Yeah,
Please tell us it
I
was
got it
before or
here.
after.
Hold
I don't
on,
remember.
I got it right here.
Frank Potvin is saying I actually did not love it at first. Listen either. Yeah,
There you
that
go.
was me, Frank.
So I got Turbo in '86. I don't know when in '86. It seems to me it came out in the summer. It had like a summertime feel to it for me.
Yeah.
But
I'll tell you.
see, it's funny how they both came out and say, okay, you got Maiden, with Number of the Beast and Screaming for Vengeance with Priest, right? So, oh, okay, those are two great albums. And then Defenders of the Faith and Peace of Mind. Oh, yeah. But then you see, like, I think they had, I don't know when their live album came out, but, came out probably Live
85,
Priest might have
85.
been there at the same time. Then it got to the point where you see keyboards, you're like, man, who's copying who here? These two guys are getting ridiculous, these two bands. Like, it's okay that you don't want to start playing Painkiller. They were years away from Painkiller, but do you really have to be following the same trends? There was so much, like you said, going on. That's what I remembered. It's like, but I was leaning more towards the Maiden side at that point than the Priest side. I just thought Priest was, oh boy, this is not the keyboard sound I wanted. With Maiden, it was something I was willing to forgive and listen to. So
another important point is radio, at least in Canada, was shifting, and video was becoming more popular. So you had 2 Minutes to Midnight was probably, if you remember this, anybody who lives in Montreal watching, 2 Minutes to Midnight was the last sort of played song on rotation of Maiden during the day, let's say. After that album, the PRMC in the 85 scared everybody, and I guess they scared the radio stations, and then music started appearing more, or metal started appearing more in video than radio. So that's where I caught this album and heard this album. I didn't hear Somewhere on Time on Shown back in the day. It was actually on video that I've actually seen it. So that's just a quick note. Yeah.
You want to get to the songs?
Yeah, we'll get to the songs. Is the audio balance okay, everybody, between me and Alan? I'm just trying to figure out if we're balanced well, and I just don't want to I want to make it a nice listening experience.
Look, I'm no longer balanced. We're not balanced anymore.
Jim Harrison, Saxon had innocence is no excuse. Everybody was looking to make videos. Yes, everything. See, the US had MTV. They were already on that bandwagon. In Canada, Music Plus was a little bit more delayed. And video and metal in video was really popular 85 and 86. So we didn't need much of radio back then, especially the Pepsi Power Hour brought to you by Pepsi.
That was my first Saxon experience. Innocence is no excuse, the album, and then I saw the tour. That was the first time I saw Saxon live, actually, with Hanover Fist. Hanover Fist. Now there was a great band opening for Saxon. Hanover Fist. Wow.
Has Somewhere in Time stood the test of time? So I started off here. You started off here. Yeah. Maybe it's going to go there and I'm going to go there. If it's going to go like this, I don't know how it's going to go, Alan. Music Plus. That's what we had here, but we also had much music, and I had to watch it. It was all crumbled and staticky, right? Because we didn't have that cable box, so it was all like white. You could just listen to the music though, and I could see sort of like the inverted version of the band. You remember that? No, you didn't watch the. You were watching Quatre de Saison. That's what you were watching.
We watched them all. They all came out. We remember. What was the first one? Was it Somewhere in Time?
Caught Somewhere in Time, written by Steve Harris. No,
or was it
Caught Somewhere in Time?
Stranger in the Strange Night came out before Wasted Years. That's what I remember. Stranger in the Strange Night, I think, being one of the first ones.
As a single,
as a video.
I don't know. I'm not sure about that. If somebody could look that up and tell us, please.
Well, if anybody sees that video, that's exactly what the stage set was. It's 100% that video. That's the hands came up, they stood, and the head came out, inflatable head, and yeah. So let's get to, can we? You look.
Let's go into the songs. Let's go into the songs.
Go make supper, and then when you want to do,
let's go into the songs. Let's go to the songs. Okay. Caught Somewhere in Time, written by Steve Harris.
Ari.
7 minutes and 22 seconds. Yeah. So this is the kind of intros I love by Iron Maiden. It's sort of short and sweet, to the point, dramatic, and it gets right into the song.
And it's got, pure Maiden, right? With the gallopy feel,
Yes.
The galloping. Yeah.
Great vocal delivery, like you said. He's at the top of his game. This is more of it's not a Rothschild, right? It's not a short and sweet little banger at the start. No, this is the epic. We're starting off with like an epic song.
7 minutes to start the album. That takes balls, man.
This is more like an Eagles Dare opener, right? We're getting a big and epic, and the drumming's there, the vocals are there, the galloping's there. The bass is
beautiful
there. It's
breaks,
set. Yeah, beautiful break.
beautiful guitar solos, everything. I mean, and then Adrian and Dave back in the day, they were the ones everybody was measuring, right? You had KK and Glenn,
Yep.
but it was really Dave. Dave and Adrian had a little edge, maybe because of youthfulness, you
Yeah.
know. But those are the ones that everybody was comparing themselves to as dual gunslingers, man.
I would say that I like this track better today than I did back in the day. I did like it. I thought it was a good song, but I enjoy it a lot more today when I put it on.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. Now that we're
Okay.
older and quite much more mature, we can appreciate the textures and the slightly different variations and the deep, meaningful lyrics that we couldn't appreciate when we were 13 or 15 years old.
All right.
That makes
Song,
sense?
absolutely. Song number 2, because you want to go eat supper.
Waste the year, baby. Yeah, baby. Hey, yeah. That's Adrian.
Adrian Smith. And this is actually, they call it the Power Slave Hangover. And this song is basically about that hangover.
Sums it up. Sums it up perfectly. That whole song, even the video tells them we've just been through hell. We're rich because of it. We never have to worry about money again in our lives. But man, did it ever take a toll on us. And the lyrics and everything. And the video is one of my favorite Maiden's videos. Just a great song, and just the sound of the guitars, like the opening and everything. This hits on all cylinders.
Yeah. This was a big song, and this was big. It had a heavy rotation on Much Music, Music Plus, MTV. This had a nice rotation, catchy, melodic. I don't think they've ever recorded a song like this since. Would you agree?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, I don't
think there's one.
Mark saying gallop ratio is important, but I don't really know if there's a gallop ratio on this. Do you think there's a
wasted years?
Yeah, no.
I think Steve's more the galloper.
Yeah. Adrian's more of the melodic, some nice back vocals happening there. Yeah. And you know what? It still retains its heaviness, this song, even though it's very melodic.
And if you allow me, I've been listening to Smith Kotzen, the first album, this week. Talking about beautiful sounding guitars, and man, anybody that hasn't checked that album out should. Smith Kotzen, Adrian Smith, Richie Kotzen, their first album, unbelievable.
Okay, that's a nice plug there.
Next.
Okay, everybody.
Next.
So I really liked Wasted Years back then, so I'm even Steven. Do you like it more today than you did back then?
I would say yes.
Okay, you're up a notch.
Yeah.
What about the folks watching? Do you prefer Wasted Years? Did you like it? First of all, did you like Wasted Years back in the day, or do you like it better today, or vice versa? You tell us. Do you like it better today or not?
Guys, get to see a madness here. See a madness. I wouldn't call it filler.
Okay.
But it's a typical, we've got the other songs are so strong, right? All Maiden albums. You got the 2 or 3 that are like exceptional. Kind of makes the other ones look weak, but they're far from being weak. I thought Sea of Madness was interesting. I probably like it a little less than I did back then.
Yeah, I'm at I didn't like it back then. I'm still not crazy about it today. So I'm even of, it's okay. It's okay back then, and it's okay today. Not crazy about it. I do love the midsection there with all the guitars going back and forth. Yeah. I like the chorus. But I don't know, somewhere it falls short. Maybe it's a little bit cheesy. Maybe that's the word is. That's the right word. I don't know.
Again, it's a solid track. It's not filler, but compared to some of the highlights on this album, it can't help but to look a little weaker. So,
yeah, probably. Jim Harrison is saying, "Wasted Years, Love Then and Now."
There you go.
Tanvir, "Wasted Years" is the Maiden pop song. Love it. Mark is saying, "Love Wasted Years. The intro is gold, as is the main riff." And I would agree with all these comments. Yeah. But now we're on Sea of Madness. What do you think? You love it today more? Or do you hate it today more?
Killing me. He's killing me.
Marty's already jumping to Deja Vu. We're not there yet.
That's it. I'm with Marty. Hey, Marty, let's go. I'm with you.
Sea of Madness, yes or no? Yay or nay?
All right, so
All right.
while everybody's voting, let's get to Heaven Can Wait.
Heaven
Love
Can
the
Wait, and then we'll
chat.
read your comments. I'm going
Who
to
didn't
bring up my
love
sleeves
that?
there, Alan.
Who didn't love that chorus chanting and then everybody go, oh, ho, 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 ho. Remember they had all the road crew come out on stage on the tour and everybody was singing that part, Heaven Can Wait, right?
I think, Alan, this is the first Maiden song to have the soccer chant.
Yeah.
It's the first one. It is definitely the first one. I
remember,
like the whoa, that is the first one.
Come out. They had, You might have won on the radio to be on stage to chant that part of this song. Remember?
Yeah. Heaven Can Wait has got to be the most moronic chorus I've ever heard from Iron Maiden next to what's that song on Peace of Mind? If you're gonna die, you're gonna die. If you're gonna die, you're gonna die. If you're gonna die, die with your boots on. If you're gonna die, you're just gonna die. Heaven can wait. Heaven can wait. Let's repeat it again. Let's repeat it again.
You're too hard.
The angel and the gambler. It's all the same stuff.
I don't agree.
Listen, I was not crazy about the song back then. I'm not crazy about the song today. But when I put it on today, I kind of enjoyed it because I've sort of dissed it for so many years. So it is enjoyable. But listen, 7 minutes and 24 seconds.
I know. Okay.
Senjutsu.
Don't fight fast, Jim. Hey, Frank Potvay, thank you. I thought, my memory was failing me. He has confirmed he was on stage with Steve.
Oh, Frank, you're on.
That song. Way to go, Frank.
Frank was on. Bruta says, would have loved it if they played Sea of Madness on the last tour. Such a catchy song. Hooky then, hooky still. And I think you're talking about Sea of Madness, Tanvir. Live version of Maiden England and Donington are killer ones. Okay. Mark is saying, Die With Your Boots On is my favorite track on Peace of Mind. Listen, I think it's a very catchy song, but he repeats a little too much. Bruce, we need a little more time, Bruce. Repeat the verse, the chorus, just a couple more times, Bruce.
He's tough. He's being tough on Maiden here.
Heaven Can Wait.
No, look, Heaven Can Wait. It's a big thumbs up. It was one of my favorites back then. I mean, how could you not like that chanting and the chorus and everything? I mean, and the lyrics too. Like that's Steve, pure Steve Harris lyrics, right? A little existential, talking about life in general, right? So, I think it's a great track. I loved it then, loved it now.
Okay. Heaven Can Wait. I would give it, this is where the props go to. Back then, I didn't know it was the first chanting song, but today I do know it was the first chanting song, so tick. So I like it slightly better today than I did back then. How's that? Okay.
There you go.
Let's go to side 2. Side 2 of Somewhere in Time. Let me open this up for everybody. This is how terrible. Look at this little cutout of these sort of, they want to make some sort of futuristic Blade Runner scooters.
This is the Terminator, and it's not the Terminator. This is the Blade Runner effect, right?
And look at Nico's hair. You could absolutely see how that was actually a cutout, and they just pasted it on some sort of mountain there. Or maybe I'm wrong. Just a shitty photography. Okay. Tanvir, Heaven Can Wait was the Ho 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 Bon Jovi chorus. It could have been. Then and Now is Vaspek Seti. Among all my favorites, and I guess you're referring to Heaven Can Wait. So let's go to the Loneliness of the Long Distance Runner. Now, Ari composed this.
Ari. Love it. Loved it then, but I could say that maybe I like it a little less now.
Whoa, Alan. Look at that.
Maybe.
Oh,
no.
Ooh, Alan, I don't know, man. What the heck is going on here?
It was like the lyrics are so deep. You're like, oh man, this is not something you can sing along to like a Wrathchild or Run to the Hills here. The lyrics are really deep here. And so at that time, I thought it was a great track, but it was not one of my favorites as some of the other ones we mentioned. But it was a strong track. Now I think I like it equally. Sorry about that.
Okay, now you change your mind.
Because at the time I'm like, this is way too deep for me, man. I was put on some AC/DC and let's get back to basics here. This is very deep, meaningful stuff. Steve's after. So
I wouldn't call this a heavy metal song. I would just call this a hard rock progressive song. Frank is right. The intro, especially when it switches keys, like it starts off, then you notice there's like a key change right there. So that's pretty cool. I love the chorus, and the drums are intense. It's intense, Alan. It's intense. The whole song, he's relentless. Relentless.
There's a few songs on this album he's like that. I was surprised listening back to it. So
and if you listen to the verse, it kind of sounds a little bit like the verse of The Prisoner. Run, to be free. If you listen to the verse, just listen to the verse. Everybody, stop, pause this podcast, go listen to The Prisoner, go listen to The Longest Distance Runner, and then listen. There is a bit of The Prisoner there, but not enough to cause a lot of hate for this song. I think I like the song a lot better today.
Yeah, it's a good song. Yeah, for sure.
What about you folks? Vesparexet is saying it is a metal song. I don't know.
6 minutes, 30 seconds.
6 minutes. Senjutsu.
They're not quite there, but I think this was one of the roots. If we have to go back, this might be the roots. Might be.
Now, here we go. You ready for this one?
Stranger in a Strange Land.
Whoa.
Great video. The videos, that's a tour right there. Showed you everything. You couldn't wait to go see Maiden after seeing that video to see their stage shows, which everybody, I mean, to this day, we all want to see their stage shows, right?
Yeah. This is the difference between Judas Priest and Maiden. They use the keyboards to complement the song, where Judas Priest were using the keyboards
to drive the song.
To drive the song, yeah.
In some songs.
Yeah. And this is definitely dark and moody. Yes.
But it were great guitar sounds. Adrian Smith again, all by his lonesome. I mean, but see, these are the ones for me. The three groupings here. If there's some kind of, if there is some kind of, there is some concept on this album. They were talking about time, whether they liked it or not after that previous tour. Yeah. But for me, it's Constant Word Time, Loneliness and Long Distance Runner, and Stranger in a Strange Land. There's a nice little grouping amongst those three on this album. I find.
All right. Melissa Nee says, I'm late. You're late to the party. Well, the party has just begun. No, we're halfway through.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Johnny Burbank, best Adrian song ever. You know what, Johnny? I would agree. And I'm going to give you two like gunshots for that. That's the Stranger in a Strange Land is the best Adrian Smith song ever.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Ever.
Wow.
Two shots. Two shots.
I like Passchendaele. I don't know. Passchendaele's epic, baby.
Stranger in a Strange Land. So I started off here back in the day, and now I like it. You can't even see where my hand is, right? You just can't. It's above.
There you go.
It's above.
So it's an 11 now. It used to be a 10, but now
it was an 8. It was an 8, but now it's 11 right here, right?
Okay. Great song. Great song. Great video. And I think possibly this could be the song that set the mood for the album.
I agree. This is the best song on the album. Melissa Nee says, Stranger is my favorite off of Somewhere in Time.
There you go. Well, okay, so we got a strong song here is what we're hearing.
Did anybody not like this song? Please raise your hand.
Somebody said, no, this is the one. I stopped listening to Maiden after I heard this.
Oh, me.
Right, let's get to...
I can't even pronounce Vesparexet. Just give me a first name, please. So Vesparexet said, no, this song turned me off of Maiden. And that was done.
Right. I don't like.
By the way, this was taken from the book by Robert Heinlein. Is that how you pronounce his name? And it was actually based off of a sailor that they found in the Arctic. He was frozen in time. And that was Stranger in a Strange Land.
There you go.
Oh, Marty. Marty does. I don't like it too much. Plotting.
Oh, my
God. Lord. Look at that.
Oh, my God. Marty.
I think it's a fabulous vocal delivery, and it's very dark and moody.
But when it...
But it's okay. It's okay. I didn't like Sea of Madness.
When I first heard this album, I agree with Marty. It does have that dark feel to it, where you listen to it and you don't feel good after.
You
You're
know,
like, oh man, that's a different change of pace there. It's like I'm kind of down. But then Deja Vu comes along, the shortest
yes.
song on the album.
Ever feel like you've been here before?
Yeah, now you
This might
okay.
be
So,
literally, this is the quest of fire of this album.
you were complaining about the other one. This one I would give
Now,
you.
wait up. We start here. I was not really happy about this song back in the day, and now I think it's like sort of like going off a cliff.
I
Would
like
you
it a
agree?
little. I like
You
it
like
a
it?
little less. A
You
little
like it a
less.
little less? Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
than when
All
I
right.
first was listening to it back in the day. So
Did everybody hate the song or love the song, or has it remained the same over time?
a little Dave Murray credit there. We don't get too many of those, right?
Sun and Steel.
Still life. Yeah, Mr.
Did he do
Murray
Sun and
sticks
Did he
up
do
to the
Sun and
plate.
Steel? Did he do Sun and Steel?
Never hurry a Murray.
Yeah. Love this intro. Johnny Burbank saying mech. Does anybody think this should be played in concert? Deja Vu. Did they play it back in the day? I don't remember.
I would have to guess not, man. All the songs they try to squeeze in, and I remember they're doing "Strange in a Strange Land," "Heaven Can Wait," "Wasted Years." They probably did "Caught Somewhere in Time," "Loneliness," "A Long Distance Runner," probably. But
Yeah. Is Sun and Steel a Dave Murray song? That's what I want to know. It's not a bad song.
no, let's go find out.
It's Still Life he wrote, right?
It's good. Yeah, Still Life is. Yeah. Hello. Okay, he wants to Sunlight and Steel. Your Iron Maiden. Peace of Mind. And they got my ticket inside here. That I wasn't on. Dickinson Smith. Way off. Way off.
Way off.
Way off. What are you talking about? And I remember that being one of the earliest singles that the radio station here was playing. Sun and Steel. Personally,
no, I don't.
Yes,
didn't they play Flight of Icarus? Flight of Icarus they played.
Oh yeah, they played other songs a lot more. It's as if they were looking to say, "Oh, what song is the single off of this?"
That's exactly. And they never found the single. They never found the single.
I remember specifically hearing Sun and Steel on the radio. Maybe I didn't hear it nearly as much as some of the other songs, but I distinctly, it was very early when the album came out, and I remember they're playing Sun and Steel, and I'm like, oh well, there's and if you look, that is a single. I mean, it's a shorter song, one of the shorter songs.
Yeah.
But I was surprised to hear that, and then it kind of disappeared.
Oh, there goes your light.
Oh, there we go.
Alan, you have peace of mind there, right?
Yeah.
On the back of it, it says no electronic keyboards used. What is the exact wording there? No keyboards used. About? The end back.
I don't know what you're talking about. On the inside, maybe not on the back.
No, on the back, maybe on the inside. I thought it was on the back, like right at the bottom. No keyboards used.
No, it says Revelations. They're quoting Revelations.
Oh,
I don't know. You want me to see
all
here?
All right. Okay.
Maybe on the inside.
Maybe.
No synthesizers or ulterior motives. It was on the inside.
There it is.
Very special thanks to Clive Bird. Good luck, mate.
They're kind of proud of the fact that there's no keyboards here, right?
Yeah.
But here comes the keyboards.
Well,
all right, last song. Alejandro the Great.
Oh, here we go.
Ari. You would think this would be a Bruce Dickinson song since he was a history major, right? But no, it's Harry who does this. Ari. Well, so, okay, what did you think of the song back then? What do you think of the song back today? Well, first of all, I wore my Alexander the Great shirt.
Yeah.
Just to give everybody a little background.
Let the Greek go first. Hey, Greek.
All right. See that? You like that shirt? That's not a Maiden shirt. That's right from Greece, from Macedonia.
That's right from the Alexander's tour. Great, his tour in 694.
That's right. 334 BC. So just to give everybody some background here, both my parents are Macedonian Greeks. That's where they come from. So this is kind of like, we were waiting for this song. My mother the other day, she goes, "Oh, Iron Maiden has a song called Alexander the Great." I go, "Yes, they do." And she doesn't want to hear it, but she's very happy for the fact that they have a song called this, right? So you can buy these shirts everywhere where my parents live, right?
Oh, okay.
So that's the background. And the reason why I'm giving the background is because I was very excited when Iron Maiden announced that there was Alexander the Great. And back in the day, I put it on. I go, oh my God, this sucks.
Oh my God. It's like
I go, this back in the day, it was To Tame a Land, the B version of that, right? Like it was just the sour version of that, the weaker To Tame a Land. And Tame a Land, I wasn't too crazy about back in the day either. But this was sort of like, ugh. It felt like back in the day, he was just jamming all the words together. And it's just that same melody, that same galloping melody.
And 35 seconds, 8 minutes and 35. Right there, you had a pretty intense album with not musically, but I'm talking lyrically, textures, feelings, different intros. And then you come to this and it's like, oh man, this is not the way to end the album. And it does take you right back to Tame a Land.
It does.
Not Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner.
They're like companion pieces in a sense, right?
Yeah. So it says as if, Rhyme stands on its own. I mean, that's exceptional and can never be duplicated as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And then this came along. It's like, oh well, there's the obligatory longer song at the end, and it doesn't live
perfectly.
Up to it.
Exactly. Love the chorus, the phrasing. I think what ruins it is the phrasing. Like, here, Bruce, here's a bunch of words. Just jam him in there. That's all he's doing the whole song. So you got Senjutsu 8 minutes and 35 seconds, right? But everybody's complaining today about the longer songs. Back in the day, I didn't like it. But I have to say, ever since that they announced that they're going to play this live, and I've seen the clips that they're playing live on YouTube, and they've never played it live before this tour, right? I'm like, I'm wearing the shirt every day, Alan. I'm sleeping in the shirt. I'm excited. I think it was always meant to be a live song. Just like, Jim, yes.
I don't want to interrupt you.
All right.
But before I forget, we'll throw it out and then you could talk and then we can see the answers come in.
Yeah. Okay.
Ticket price for this tour. I got it right here. I'm hiding it so nobody can cheat. What was the ticket price? Canadian, okay, for that tour. Go ahead, Jim. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt. You're talking about how you sleep in that shirt every night.
Yeah, ever since they announced that they're playing the song, and they've never played this, just so everybody understands who weren't around back in the day. They did not play this song live on that tour or any other tour since. But since Alexander the Great, sort of the myth, the legend, whatever, has sort of grown, since it's become this sort of dark horse, deep cut song that has never been performed live, they said, we'll perform it, and everybody's losing their mind. They've lost their mind. They've lost their mind so much now they're designing Iron Maiden Alexander the Great shirts. And you know what? It was always meant to be a live song. And that's that.
Is that great? Remember they had the poster with him, A Stranger and a Stranger, with the Clint Eastwood look, and they had a full poster you could put on the back of your door. Remember that? Yeah.
And Tanvir is saying To Tame a Land is Frank Hubert's Dune. Yes, it is. Yeah. They couldn't use the word Dune because they got
Herbert didn't want a heavy metal band.
That's right.
Destroying his work.
By the way, Jim Harrison says $17.50.
Oh, he's close. He's close. This is I think they're all pretty much the same, but this was orchestra. Row G. I don't know if he started with double A's. But
that's 7 row. That's row 7.
I don't remember. I remember wasted. I don't remember being that close. So maybe they had a couple of A, B, B, C, C, D, D's in front. I don't know, but I've been close. I've been first row. I've been in the 7th row. I've been in the 6th row. Apparently, I was in the 8th row on the floor, but I just don't remember, man.
Jim says 1950.
Oh, you guys are close. You guys are very close. There's only one number that's close to that. Those two. You're equally close, both of you. You're just not there.
7th row of a 7th row, Alan.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what Tom says. All right. So here's the big question. Are we ready for this? Is Alexander the Great, do you has it aged well? Do you prefer, what was that? How do I introduce this whole thing here? Is Alexander the Great really that great? That's what I want to say.
Yeah. Okay.
Is it really that great? Yes, Alexander the Great is great, but the song, is it really that great today? Do you prefer today more than you did back in the day? Or did you hate it back in the day and it has grown on you and you love it today? What is it? Please tell us. Jim Harrison says 1850.
Well, there, Jim. Yeah, third strike, third time the charm. There. Yeah, yeah. You.
Congratulations.
Yeah, way to go, Jim. You nailed it.
Good job.
1850.
Yep. All right.
March 24th, 7:30. 7:30 start with Wasted.
All right.
Great show. I love that show.
Okay. Ves Parexet says same. So how about you, Alan? We didn't talk about you. Did you love the song back then as much as you like the song today, or do you hate the song today even more?
I probably like it more today, but for me, it's the weakest track on the album, and it was, yeah.
Throwaway.
It didn't finish the album off. The album had so much potential, so much great albums, and then he comes to the last song. Weekend. It's like you get to the Stephen King, right? All his books, you're reading for 1,000 pages, and then everything ends in half a paragraph or a paragraph.
Yeah.
So it was a great album, but the last track just didn't do it for me. But I probably do like it better today than I did back then.
Okay.
So here we go. The ultimate question, Jim.
Yeah.
Does it stand the test of time?
Does Somewhere in Time stand the test of time? And I'll let everybody else answer it first, and then you and I will answer this question.
Okay.
Then we will go have supper.
We leave the room when we come back? How does this work?
We come back, we close our eyes, we close our ears.
We're not listening. Wasted, yeah. Remember them? Pete Wade.
Are we done?
Steve's Hero and UFO with this band Wasted.
Okay.
Right.
Marty.
Are you going back to Alexander the Great? Or you're going
the whole album. For me, I like the song a lot more today than I did back in the day. I did not like it back in the day, but I love the song today. And I see that it was, and I'll say this again for the third time, it is a live song. It comes alive in the performance. That's what I would say. All right, here we go. Marty saying, yes, a strong album, but not as good as The Seventh Son. No, that's not the question. As it stood the test of time. In other words, phrase this for me, Alan. Phrase this for me.
There's some Maiden albums, and there's some other bands' albums that we adored the albums back in the day, and then you listen to it and you go, oh boy, that sounds dated. Or that's not quite as good as I remember it. Or back in the old days, we really rocked our heads off to that, but today it just doesn't get me off the couch. So that's what we just want to know. Does it stand the test of time? Is it as fresh sounding today? Is it as solid today as the first time you heard it and enjoyed it? So I say yes.
All right. Well, Joshua says it has aged better than
Fine Wine.
Number of the Beast. Tanvir, Alan, you madman. And Tanvir, please answer the question. Yes or no? Marty says yes. Vix Paraksetet says yes. I say I prefer the album today a lot more. I think it has aged a lot better. I guess because back in the day, I was listening to so much Metallica-ish, that speed metal that was coming out. I was kind of going that way. And Paul Di'Anno wasn't in the band anymore. Right?
No, start that. It was like 4 albums ago.
And I don't know. I just thought things started getting diluted. But because this album is sort of going off course for Maiden, and it's more musical, it's more proggy, there's just a lot more going on. I learned to really appreciate this album.
There we go.
Today. That's it.
So we're looking forward to it. So what's the plan on the tour? They're going to play the whole album?
No, they're playing half a Senjutsu and half a Somewhere in Time with Fear of the Dark.
All right, there we go.
So, Alan, when are we going to see the show?
This the show that's coming up. It costs a lot more than $18.50, and I'm not in the orchestra. I'm not 7 rows from the stage show.
Okay, well, I don't remember where I'm sitting, but I'm sitting somewhere.
Yeah, I think I got some good seats. I think. Yeah. Looking forward to it. Should be a great show. Lots of merch. You'll see tons of Eddie's shirts. Everybody's in a good mood at an Iron Maiden concert. If a fight breaks out, that's got to be a poser. There's some poser there because everybody's sat singing Maiden songs and high fiving, and they brought their kids and their grandchildren in some cases. And yeah, it's going to be a great time. I can't wait to see it.
Did I tell you about the last time I saw Maiden in Ottawa?
No.
Like here we are, we're in the seats, right? We're not down and below. We're sitting in the seats. And my wife and I were there, and of course Stefan Perrin and everybody else. But in front of us, in front of my wife and me, there was two girls dancing to all these songs off of Sujitsu. Like you're dancing. This is not Duran Duran, folks. You got to sit down and absorb. Go like this, maybe. But you don't stand up and dance the whole time. I had to go like this. I had to go like that, Alan.
That's tough.
And I was the only. It was just us two. That's it. Like a little this, we could do this. We could do this. We could do a little that. We could go like this. Yay, right? But not, dancing.
Yeah. Well. That's
like it's Foreigner
able to dance to Maiden.
All right,
some
man.
people can't. All right.